please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. We are still counting down to pre-open. Let's do one thing. Let's put commodity cues also on the record. Here's Manisha Gupta. Manisha, good morning.
Morning, Anuj, and good news as far as the crude oil prices go, as we have seen further decline coming in. $80, we did see a spike up to that, but it hasn't been able to hold on to those kind of levels, and that is the reason you have seen more shorts being created around that. Apart from that, you have seen the US inventories gain up. There also is the conversation from OPEC members coming in that they are looking to perhaps change their strategy come June 22nd in sense of review. There are statements from Russia saying that they will discuss a phase out in supply curb strategy. So that is what the markets really are watching out for. In any case, you are looking at the discount that the WTI holds in sense of Brent at around $8, which also has been widening much more, as you have seen higher inventories from US, but the Brent has been increasing because of the geopolitical concerns and the Middle East supply concerns as well. But it is good news when you look at the metals as a space. Gold prices are back above $1,300 per ounce. The whole thing about the US dollar taking a pause on the rally, and also short covering after US president has suspended that meeting with North Korea. That is what has led to some premium coming in for these prices. In these metal prices, it continues to be led as an outperformer. Trading at a 3-month highs is up 7% in this week. But not just that, there are good gains that you have seen in Shanghai, in nickel and zinc as well as metals today.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Manisha. Actually, dollar receded yesterday, but today morning it's back at 93.91 thereabouts, the dollar index. So a rather unhappy combination. For us if dollar is above 93.90 and crude is above 79. So there's a first red tick, not to be believed, because the Sensex has a 1.1 green tick. At the moment, we will not believe either of them. Let's just wait for them to settle down and then call out. Maybe Sun Pharma is one stock to watch with its Glumetza permission. Or maybe Dr. Reddy's, for them it's competition. Rupees open strong. Now this is a traded rate, it's not just a quoted rate. So that is important. There isn't any negative influence of the dollar. If anything, it's positive. The dollar is cheaper by 6 pice at this moment compared to yesterday's.
GAIL would be interesting stock to track today, Lata. We were doing closing bell and it was down about 4%. This morning, CLS has actually upgraded GAIL. So that, I think, could be an interesting stock, up about 1.8% in pre-open. For last 2 days, there's been massive decline in Motherson Sumi. Yesterday also ended 6% lower. It's a bit of a freak rate, but just keep an eye on that. And NCC, which was clearly the earning of the day yesterday, and that stock still having a decent follow-through, about 1%.
I thought you would have to look at the alcohol twins.
Yeah, yes, okay. Actually, United Spirits is moving up higher, almost about 4% higher on United Spirits now. Remember, the volume growth for United Spirits has been strong, although the margin pressure has been there. Now it's adjusting a bit, so down about 2% or so. A couple of more stocks to look at. Pidilite, the margins were a miss this time around, but the stock has had a great run. So, maybe you could see some amount of profit taking, you never know. And Granules was weak. Cummins' domestic performance was disappointing. So just keep an eye out some of them.
But just one point on United Spirits. This morning, I'm seeing a near consensus on United Spirits to buy. Sometimes the market does not reward consensus. So that, I think, would be interesting. But yes, this is only
clearly it's not rewarding at the moment.
Only pre-opening rate. But let's see how it settles up.
Oh, rupees really strengthened. That's about 15 pice stronger rupee at this point in time. Okay, the dollar is cheaper by 11 pice at this juncture. It's 0.16%. So that strength is important. At least you're not getting negative vibes from a very strong dollar is always risk aversion, especially towards emerging markets. That's not seen in the currency at this point in time, which is positive for the markets. At the moment, Nifty and Sensex are up 0.2%. Well, we'll allow that to settle down and go over to another a company which is waiting for us, Cochin Shipyard. It's a strong showing by that company this quarter, led by a marked improvement in operational performance. Madhu S. Nair, Chairman and Managing Director of Cochin Shipyard, joins us on the phone line. Good morning, Mr. Nair. Always good to have you with us. Well, if you can just take us through what led to this operational improvement. EBITDA, the margin has been substantially higher. Is this the new high we have to work with, 18-20% margins?
See, the margins have come in significantly from improved revenues from the aircraft carrier and a significant increase in revenues from the ship repair segment.
Okay.
So the kind of EBITDA margins we are seeing, we feel is sustainable. You should actually look at the EBITDA minus the other income, because there's a significant part of other income also that's coming into the PAT levels, because we have a fair bit of cash in hand. But at the EBITDA, at the operating levels, this is a sustainable level.
Can you tell us what is the current order book of the company and what kind of order visibility do you have over the next 1 year in the shipbuilding segment?
See, we have concluded order of around 2,000 crores. We are in the process of concluding orders for another about 6,000 crores. So that takes it to about 8,000. And whatever I'm talking does not include the phase 3 part of the aircraft carrier and its allied works, which again, like by end of this year, we are hopeful to sign the contracts. So all in all, to put it very in a roundabout fashion, it's something like a 14 to 15,000 crores is the visibility we are seeing over the next.
So the phase 3 part of that aircraft carrier project, how much is it worth, and what is the timeline over which this would be spread out?
The aircraft carrier, the delivery is to be executed by end of 2020.
Okay.
And that is what we are working towards. I'm not in a position to disclose the figures we are talking about because it's in a stage of discussions with the Navy.
Okay. You know, you said a margin of 19% is sustainable. But, you know, your cost of raw materials has gone down. Is that sustainable?
See, the cost of materials essentially, like since we are in shipbuilding and ship repair, that's really not an indicator because see, if you are looking at raw materials, we have seen some on the shipbuilding side, we've seen some concerns on the steel price hardening. But then the good part is that we are not doing vessels which are heavy on steel. But tomorrow, if you have to look at that segment which is heavy on steel, like the normal merchant vessels, yes, we could have some concerns, but current orders on hand and what we are currently looking at is low on steel.
Okay.
But otherwise, equipment is covered. That's how the pricing always goes. You don't look at the raw material cost per se.
Fair enough. Your full year EBITDA is about 470 crores. Is that, you know, would you expect 18-19% over that?
As we move forward?
Yes.
Not 18-19%. If you are looking at our CAGR over the last 10 years, right, 10-year CAGR on the PAT levels is around a 15.5%.
Okay. Fair.
Around that level is sustainable.
Okay, just one final question. You said the total order book now is to the tune of 8,000 odd crores. Does this include this order of the anti-submarine corvette?
Yes, that it includes that. I have factored that in because even though that contract has not yet been formally signed, it's only a matter of couple of months before we actually put pen to paper on that. Okay,
good to hear that, Mr. Nair. Thank you very much for joining us. That stock the stock would be rewarded. Numbers definitely. Okay, at the moment it's still up 25 rupees. All right, that's a 5% uptick in that stock. After the management exuded confidence that they will be able to maintain the current margins, which are a quantum leap from last year. I mean, 19% margins compared to 6-8% in the previous year. So excellent performance on the margin front.
Okay, I think what will be really interesting today to look at in terms of opening rates would be United Breweries, because that's up about 4.6% in pre-open. PC Jewelers numbers today 3% higher on that stock. It's been very volatile, of course. And Stride Shasun for last couple of days has been reacting on the upside, so that also would be an interesting stock to track in today's trade. Minda Corporation is up 4%.
Okay, so let's get our technical guests back in and find out how you should approach the market. Ashwini, Mitesh and Prakash are back with us. Ashwini, these, you know, United Breweries and United Spirits, I just wanted, of course, we've been chatting about how the stocks would move in the very near term, but for longer term investors, for United Spirits, you think it's peaked out because it had a phenomenal run over the past 2 years. It gave up a lot of it this year. You think the best is over?
See, so far, the 200-day moving average holds on. So, one day this mess will be over and Vijay Mallya's stocks would have been sold, etc. That way, it's a buy on decline because there is, demographics and things are changing, etc. But otherwise, as of today, there is no technical reason to buy it. So you can buy it thinking one day everybody will fly and one day everybody will drink, that way. Similarly, UPL, that's probably a bit better than United Spirits.
Yes.
There, I think maybe 1350, 1400, those sort of levels can come in. That's a much stronger looking chart than United Spirits.
How's GAIL looking to you, Ashwini?
See, it's like rest in peace deregulation now. So, all bets are off on these, government oil and gas stocks.
Okay, well, I like the way you said one day everybody will fly and one day everybody will drink. Not necessarily everybody will drink Kingfisher beer, right? I mean, there's so much competition in the markets. You need to keep that in mind as well. But Mitesh, what about you? What would you look at in individual stocks? Pre-opening has settled marginally in the green, but there are plenty of names that are moving up. Avenue Supermarts, Just Dial. Anything that you liked in the broader market?
Avenue Supermarts, yes, I think it gave a good correction and a pullback. I think these are good levels to enter. But that apart, I think, what will possibly interest me is Yes Bank and Infosys. Infosys had some kind of a breakout yesterday. Today, I think it's showing marginal continuation. And a couple of power utilities like PFC and REC, I think extremely oversold readings, and they should give a stronger pullback. Right?
Okay, Ashwini, what's your 9-10 call then?
See, I think given that banks are stronger in terms of indices, maybe Kotak you can buy with a stop of 1260, target of 1310.
Okay, while on that issue, Ashwini, today Bank of Baroda numbers will come after market hours. Going by what the reception that was accorded to SBI, is Bank of Baroda likely to get a similar reception?
See, had BOB come instead of SBI, maybe it would have gotten a better reception. Now, possibly the stock has gone up from 126 to 140. A good result will lead it back towards the 200-day moving average around 152. But I think PSUs have done quite a bit, PSU banks particularly. They've gone up, I think, 2-3 sessions. Now it's not such a great idea to be expecting even better results than, SBI.
Okay, a few more numbers to look at. Gujarat Alkali actually is reacting quite well to its numbers. So that stock in pre-opening is higher by, I think, about 8% or so. Yes, 8.5%, 9% now. Mangalore Chemicals as well is looking pretty good, 4.5% post its numbers. Profits have gone up significantly. And Cochin Shipyard, after that positive commentary from the management, that stock too is much higher in trade. Prakash Gaba, anything that you've liked from the mid-cap space?
I don't know about the mid-cap space, but certainly I'm looking at the cement pack, that is Ambuja Cement. Looks like Ambuja Cement should go up from here. I like the base formation out here. Good chance it can climb to around 222 zones. The base is looking good to me in Ambuja Cement. I'll look at it.
Okay. Cement has not been generally favoured by the market. So one has to see if things are bottoming out for this one. Well, actually, the market looks like it's going to open in the green. All indices, not in a great measure, but about 0.2% higher. Ashwini, if it indeed were to open in this way, just 0.2% higher, that's a sell for you?
That's a sideways market. So you don't immediately jump in. Try to wait for a dip to enter. And if you get a 30-odd point dip on Nifty or 100 points on Bank Nifty, that is a place to buy.
Some of these agrochemical stocks, Ashwini, do you like any of them? Gujarat Alkalis has surged quite a bit post its numbers.
This year is not a great year for mid caps. So be very careful, what you are trying to buy there. As you can see, Jubilant is hitting almost new highs. Kotak is hitting fresh highs. TCS. So there's a group of 25 stocks. If you stay there, you'll be safe. These, one-offs keep happening, but overall there's no trend with the mid-caps.
Is there any trend with Future Lifestyle now? It kind of got arrested in its upward move.
Unlike other mid-caps, that trend hasn't been vitiated. Retail seems to be a, decent longer-term theme. So that way, I think these declines should be used to buy, maybe keep a 380, 390 type of stop, and, possibly we'll see 550 at some point.
Okay. Ashwani, what about NCC, which had a big move, then a brutal correction, and now in last 2 days, a big rally once again?
These are all, short covering type moves. So maybe it can recover 50% of the fall, get closer to say 125, 126. But again, we have to see in this rally what sort of participation the mid caps do. If they don't do too much, then chances are it will fall back to the lows.
Okay, well actually I would have borrowed all your phrases, big move, brutal correction, even for Ashok Leyland, right? Mitesh, what does the Ashok Leyland stock tell you? Looks like a rubber ball bouncing.
Yeah, Lata, I think after a big decline, I think, we saw a good bounce back. But the key was that the bounce back happened from levels of 130. I think 130, 125 on the longer term charts are excellent support range. So if you get a decline back to those levels, again, it will be a very good entry point. For the time being, I think the bounce back could face supply around 153, 154, and you might see stock go into some kind of consolidation. But for me, it remains a buy on declines, even from a positional trading point of view, even as well as you can make a portfolio stock if you get it around 8-10% lower from here.
Okay. All right. We're just waiting out half a minute for the markets to open. And at least at the moment, the green tick has been maintained. Courtesy, actually, some of the steel, cement. It's a motley group of stocks. There isn't one theme. There's GAIL, Tata Steel, Cipla, Ultratech Cement, Yes Bank as the first 5 gainers. So it's not as if leadership is coming from one specific segment like IT or banks. It is a many-sided charge. We'll have to really wait and see if all these can fire. Vedanta, of course, has been lying low for a bit now. The Tuticorin problem will cast its shadows, and we shouldn't expect anything good